with your words to yourself. And one way to test that is if you cannot stand in front of a mirror and profess, I love you, and feel comfortable about it, you have a problem that you need to deal with. And you need self-care. Most importantly, you need to learn self-love. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just in the process of learning the skill of comforting yourself. And you're doing the best you can with what you can when you can. And I really want to highlight this because this has become very clear to me in my own self-care journey. What we're really doing when we're trying to practice self-care and get ourselves to the place where that's our default setting, we're really learning how to self-soothe. We are managing ourselves so that nobody else has to do it for us and nobody else has the power over us. Nobody is in control of your happiness except you. Not the circumstances, not the world around you. It is a personal decision that you're making based on the thoughts you have. And surprise, you can change those thoughts. You can change those behaviors. They're just, little tricks that you need to do. One thing I would ask, another kind of section of our virtual meeting that we talked about was talking about whose side are you really on? Do you have your own back? Do you really stand up for yourself? When you know in your gut there's a right way to be or a right way to go, do you do that? Do you follow your intuition? Or are you constantly telling yourself and reassuring yourself that you don't know what's best and giving that power to somebody else? Like there's somebody else out there in the world that knows better than you how to help you, how to have your own back. And we're going to do an entire episode about how to have your own back and the conversations that you need to start practicing with yourself that are going to reassure and make that statement true. Not just practice, but true. Because there is this juicy, wonderful comfort that comes from knowing nobody can take it away from me. I have my own back. And when I know I'm right, I'm right. I have the confidence in myself. And I love myself enough to trust what I feel, to trust my gut, and to operate from that. And it's so sexy. It is so sexy when people do that. You see them and they just walk with a certain type of confidence. They talk about themselves in a certain light. They make what's important to them the priority. And they're much bigger contributors to our society because they know they have something to contribute. They know they have worth. I would ask you, when's the last time you stood up for yourself? Where maybe you were in a situation where others thought you were wrong or you couldn't do it. And maybe they scoffed at you or were like, yeah, that will never happen, But you have to let what's inside you really be the louder voice, the one you listen to more consistently. Because nobody on Facebook knows what's best for you. Do not listen to their advice. They are taking a snapshot of you and they're spinning their own garbage into it and then spitting it out as a means of sort of pseudo connection. And I won't get into it, but let me just tell you how much I hate Facebook. I personally I deleted my Facebook. I took down the Selfcare is Sexy Facebook page. And I didn't do that to take my resource away from people, but I really believe in my heart that is not a platform that I want to funnel my vision through. I don't trust it anymore. But you've got to do what's best for you because you know what's best for you. I know in my heart it's not best for me. Maybe it offers you some kind of great self-care. Maybe scrolling endlessly through that feed and checking in on everybody else gives you some sort of better relationship with yourself. I'm not sure how, but I'm sure somebody has figured out a way. But just remember, who's there for you? Who believes in you? And what would happen if you started doing your part and having your own back and started believing in yourself and really started making you the priority in your life instead of your partner or your friends or your parents or your work? What if you became the most important thing? What if you were your own crush? Would you put the same amount of love and effort and energy into someone you're just dating as you would yourself, I'm going to venture probably not. You probably put a lot more effort into the new love interest than you ever have in yourself. And the fix for that, the solution for that, real easily, is just the statement, I show up for myself. And you repeat that over and over, and you look for examples of that in your life. Where can you show up for you? Where can you have your own back? You know, for me, it was taking down the Facebook. For me, it's writing, creating my 24-hour plan every day. It's meditating. It's yoga. It's trying to get my 10,000 steps. It's writing poetry and podcasting and reading. These are all the things that I do for myself to show up for myself and to have my own back. And while our lists might be very different, I encourage you to be able to rattle off, as I have, the things that you do that show that you show up for yourself, that you have self-love, self-compassion, and you do things that are just for you. You've got to take the time to figure out how to be on your own side. Think of your energy as a sort of currency. And who are you giving your attention to right now? Where is your attention or your focus going? And is that recipient of all your focus and attention worthy of it? Because if you're giving outside entities, persons, things, your attention more than you are yourself, you're in essence running a tape in your background that says, I'm not worth it. I'm not more important than Facebook. And that's really something I want to kind of hammer home tonight, is I want you to start thinking about, where your focus and your energy goes and who gets your attention and how much of that attention goes to yourself. Just like all the money advice from the gurus talk about, pay yourself first out of your paycheck before you do your bills, before you start, even before you put it in savings, you give yourself the allowance first. And self-care is the same way. You've got to make sure that the best of your energy, the best of your love is going straight to you first. And my friends, I can tell you it's a whole new world. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities. There's so much that you can do when you start making self-care the priority and when you start taking time for yourself. Now, it's the chaotic holiday season, and this is the season that everyone throws their efforts into things outside themselves. And I would implore you, my friends, my listeners, my podcast nation, to really reel it in. Use the coronavirus as your fundamental excuse if you have to, and really use this time to focus on how you can love you best. Don't get wrapped up in the presents and the candies and the cookies and the doing all the things all the time for everyone else. Really take this time and focus on what's best for you and how you can improve the relationship with yourself. And set a goal that by New Year's Eve, here we are, it's Thanksgiving in the States, by New Year's Eve, you are going to have improved the relationship with yourself, and you're going to make self-care a priority where you do something once a week for 30 minutes or more that is only for you. That is the minimum gold standard that I want you to set that goal. You can do that 30 minutes a week. You could squeeze out 30 minutes right now. You've been listening to my podcast for almost 30 minutes. So you can dedicate that time. Set it aside, schedule it. Nothing intrudes, nothing. Unless you're bleeding, fire, flood, or blood, don't come at me. This is my self-care time. All right, again, I want to wish you and all of your family and friends and our whole communities a happy Thanksgiving. That is it for this week. Thank you for joining me. If you have a story you'd like to share and you want to be on the show, please email me. It's Chris, Kris, at selfcareissexy.com. Okay, we've got some really great content coming your way, so stay tuned. And remember that self-care is sexy We're giving you permission to put yourself first.